Hey there, everybody. Reed here, conductor at Orchestra Farm. Check out my website at vendingreeds.com. And thanks for all likes and subscribes on the page, all the comments, even though some of those comments seem to be from robots or, crazy sex bots or whatever. I still appreciate a little bit of engagement there. Although I do look forward to real people. It's so interesting communicating through these virtual spaces while I'm in these forested environments. Kind of just on a crazy walk in the woods right now. It's not really a path here, but I had a couple extra minutes and I figured, for my topic today, walking in the wild made a bit of sense. Overwhelmed. I feel like everyone at some point in their life has felt overwhelmed, and we all have different ways of being with that. I, the other day, was overwhelmed. It was pretty awesome. I sobbed. Now you might think sobbing is all tears, but the kind of sob where your breathing becomes heavy and all the different, and it's hard to control, and you're making strange, funny sounds, and maybe there's some tears coming. And in my case, I was like, I don't exactly know why I'm sobbing right now. And hey, look at the path. I'm just gonna go with it. Let's be in my overwhelm for a moment. It's so rare that it happens, and I see emotions as a big space of our body cluing us in that there's something to learn here. And by going with it, I kind of get onto the path. And I go from being in the wilds of my emotions onto I'm at home in these emotions. I'm okay sobbing. And that gives space to let your inner navigation define itself a bit. Because we don't always know where we're going in life. We have a basic direction and then things happen, and who knows what the best course of action is. Sometimes in life it's really hard to tell what the best direction is. And if you're overwhelmed, if you don't have to make a decision in that moment, it's best not to, from where I stand. It's the kind of thing where, try to give yourself an extra day before you have to make a decision. I've had in the past vehicles break down. I'm on the side of the road. You gotta determine, do I fix the vehicle? Do I send it off to get wrecked? Do I scavenge some pieces from it? Maybe you're sitting in a place where you don't even have enough money to deal with it. And so it's even more of a question mark of how to go about it. There's another trail. Let's see what happens over here. And so, talking about the rocks and the hard places in life, it could feel pretty overwhelming. And, if you're living in North America, there's a chance that you haven't necessarily experienced the most amount of stress. Or, depending on who you are, maybe you've experienced huge amounts of stress, because let's be honest, North America is a lot like a third world country. It's just that the news programs don't want to tell you about it. And that's fair to a degree. But when you're actually push comes to shove, you might realize that, you come back to your basic needs. Most people don't even put breathing on that. But if you're overwhelmed, it's likely that you're not really breathing that well. And it's good to start there, in my opinion. And then hydrate. Not turning to alcohol or drugs for your hydration, but actual H2O. Maybe even a coconut water if you could get that. Or some other form of natural electrolytes. And then food. And I'm not talking about fast food, people. I'm talking about real food, and whether that's vegetables from your own garden or some locally produced meats or eggs. All good things to help recalibrate your system before you have to make your big choices. Maybe even have space to meditate, And meditate might look like, hey, you go to your gun range and you fire your gun for a bit to come into like a clear-headed space. Maybe meditation looks like going to the basketball court and having a game for a bit. Maybe meditation looks like going for a walk in the woods. Maybe meditation to you is reading a book and getting lost in someone else's fantasy world. Or if it's nonfiction, their life that's portrayed by, wow, that's a big ass rock, either themselves or somebody else. It might be cooking that food is the meditation. Whatever it is, and however you're finding yourself overwhelmed, I really wish you the best in recalibrating yourself to being present and coming into your personal center. Maybe your meditation is knitting or sewing or painting, or cleaning your bathroom, deep cleaning the fridge. That's a good meditation. I did a medium cleaning my fridge yesterday. It was needed because I was overwhelmed by the rats in my house and I needed to get them out. And the crap thing is, there's a subfloor, and so I found the hole in my floor. I went down to the subfloor and maybe let my landlord deal with the subfloor part, but I still could hear them gnawing away underneath it all. So my family's like, I heard the rats last night. Yeah, there's all rats in our life. And let's not be rats, people. Tattletelling on each other doesn't really build good relations. Let's let other people be. We all have different ways of being, and I want to try to at least respect other people's life choices and not force my own on them. Like when that's also the case over here. It's a good and wonderful little world out here. So, if you're overwhelmed and sobbing, or you're overwhelmed and you're hyperventilating, or you're overwhelmed and you're becoming a hypochondriac, take whatever space you need to come into your center, be in this glorious world. Maybe go get some actual help from a psychologist and get your head straightened out. Therapy's not a bad thing. I should really be doing that. I hear it's good for even the healthy-minded people. Anyway, if you're wondering what my psychologist is, it's the garden. Get my hands in the dirt. Good for so many things. Well, have too much fun, everybody. Until next time.